Hello, Corrie here, coming in to do the energy update for the week of February the 12th. This is Valentine's week in the commercialized world of guilting us into being a part of something that may cause a lot of anxiety and stress for people. So if the Valentine's Day and the 14th doesn't really truly feel right to you, please make it just a regular day. Please be careful of how much the programming of all of our celebratory events may place pressure upon you that you really don't want to be a part of. Or if you have a partner who really truly it doesn't resonate with, guilting somebody into showing you their love is not the most loving thing to do to another person. Please remember that as we struggle enough with mental, anxiety and mental issues, the power of the mind to really truly take us to the place of shaming us into performing something that really doesn't resonate with us has its effects. There's always a ripple effect. If you're all into it, go for it. Do it, whatever resonates with you, but be aware that it's not for everyone, and that's totally okay. It doesn't mean you're not loved. It means that somebody doesn't need a commercialized day to show love. Something to really, truly think about. So today's energy and where we are. We have, there is a lot of battle of the mind's energy that we're going to see unfolding this week. On a world scale, you're going to see those who are in the love of power be very much a front and center of this influential energy moving into the 13th, 14th, and moving forward. You're also going to see the winds of powerful change influencing us for the rest of this month. We do have I do believe Mars is making itself very much known in the energy, as I do see war and hard times and struggles. And that doesn't always mean a world wars. There's wars happening every day, as I say, but a war within ourselves or causing a disruption, argument, fights, delays. You may be at an airport and feel that urge that flights are delayed, and you might want to get into the big argument with the person who has absolutely no control, right? They're only doing their job. They can't control what else is happening. Be careful about who you're taking your frustration out on this week, and or that others may be taking their frustrations out on you. As I spoke of in the new moon energy, I spoke about that influence of, in friendships, in relationships, and that's continuing also into this week as well. We do have and it is funny, but it is the 14th, is on the 14th and around the 14th, around the middle of the week, because I'm seeing it as a balance. I'm seeing it as a scale of balance being tipped, and there is a tip in the balance and the scale of balance, and things are coming out of balance, out of alignment. So it's like you're riding a bike and the chain comes off and you can't get any farther. Well, that's what the energy feels like to me. It is there is a lot of solar flares as well, and it just feels like, and I keep seeing 3 and then 4. So I keep seeing 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4. So I keep seeing the Trinity, and I keep seeing the mind, body, soul connection, and then the oversoul. So I just keep seeing that sense of there being like that, we have the 3. So I said, you can have that 2 friends that are really good friends in the new moon energy, and then you put in the 3rd person, and then the relationships change. Well, here comes the 4th. So bring in the 4th, and it changes everything. The 4th is the one who kind of comes in and just says, well, can you see what happened when the 3rd came in? Can you see what was in balance and what was in sync, or how you just agreed to just disagree with 2, but when the 3rd came, it caused a little more of a chaotic energy. Well, here comes the 4th. And the 4th is the one that brings about change. So it's not always that it's the voice of reason, and it could be the voice of reason coming in. It could be aha moments that are coming in, but it can also very much be the disruptor that disrupts the things that we cannot see. So there is a disruption that it could also be the presence of the divine. So I see that presence of the divine entering in, coming in, and it comes into ourselves. And so when things go horribly, horribly wrong, and we've been in, when siblings fight and they get in an argument and then something drastically happens, they're like, oh my God, now we got it done. Now we just broke mom's china, or now we're all in trouble, and everything just stops and pauses. There feels like there is that kind of disruption in this week's energy, and it follows through into the month. So you may not see it fully unfold, but it could be, like I said, we could see a massive, it could be something in the masses. I see something happening in the masses this week. Something big, something explosive. Could be volcanoes, it could be windstorms, it could be more storms, and we got a month of those. February, even though I'm looking at like the most beautiful day today outside, it doesn't mean it's going to be beautiful everywhere. So we do have this disruption, but we also see a visible change in how we start to see things within ourselves. And that's where I always say, like, in my yearly predictions, and I did it this year, and I said it last year, was this year we would start to see the light coming on for people. When people are struggling with, and we all have addictions, so this is not just one particular type of addiction. When we start to realize how influenced and affected by the things that pull us away from what is important to us, having and the toll that it has had upon us. And we're really starting to see that and seeing the light come on, and people really truly stepping into cleaning up the energy. If a chain comes off, it makes you have to stop and look at the whole bicycle. It makes you just have to stop and look at the things that we haven't cared for, the things we haven't taken care of within ourselves. Looking at that self, looking at the world, looking on a world scale, looking larger and bigger into ourselves. What am I doing? And I can tell you, I myself and I've spoke about this, I am right now in healing through a spinal surgery. And I can't bend, twist, turn my body. I got to go nose and toes. So where my nose goes, my toes have to go. Where my toes go, my nose have to go. And so this morning, my dog couldn't get up over the steps. My husband was gone to work. My mother was in bed. And I looked out and I thought about it and I contemplated it. And I put on my slippers. I stepped outside and I'm like, well, maybe I can like really scoochy down because I can start to do squats. So I'll go out and I'll squat right down and I'll try to pick her up enough to put her on the step and get her in the house. Well, that step was not slippery, but the snow underneath and with the plastic slipper being cold, I went out, took the step off the step, stepped off the step onto the snow, and I went down. And my hand caught me before my back, so it wasn't so severe, but it was everything that I knew could happen. But instead of just staying back and saying, no, I'm going to really listen to my body, the thought of, waking somebody up and disturbing somebody else and asking for help stood in the way of me in my healing. And it's a little life lesson. Sometimes what we need to bring us into alignment is for, that one other person, that one other thing to come in to help, to assist, to guide us, to be our voice of reason, to inspire, to encourage us. It is when sometimes maybe we do need that mentor. You got to really look at what you're chasing. And when you're chasing something, you're not in flow. When you're allowing the fears or you're allowing yourself to think, I can do it all on my own, well, maybe you can't do it all on your own. Sometimes the things that we have in our lives that keep us in balance are there to help us because maybe somebody else has learned from that mistake and has already made that mistake. And so they're trying to tell us, I've already been there. Why do we need to repeat it? It is just like past life healing. You don't need to go back and relive and reenact a situation that you have been through. You were already there. You have to recognize that you were right. You weren't crazy. It did happen your way, your story. It did take place. And that you validate that for yourself, that you know it. And then you're able to say, no, all I know is I know that I wasn't making this up. I know this to be real. I know this to be true. And then we can recognize that and we say, I take back the piece of myself that I left behind in the doubt or shaming myself and trying to convince myself it wasn't right, it wasn't true. And moving forward with a sense of knowing and confidence, I wasn't crazy, I wasn't wrong. That was true, that was right. And that was my instinctual self, always trying to remind me, Well, the same thing when you go against, so you don't have to reenact it because somebody else has been through it, because somebody else has already gone down that path, because somebody else knows what it's like to fall, to stumble, what somebody else knows what it's like to be in a position of hurt or pain, or, because of the way surgery goes, the surgeon hears from everybody. So the surgeon says, you do not twist, you do not bend, you do not do that. They're not telling you to cause you grief. They're telling you because they know how much harder it makes the healing, or that the healing may not take place. So why activate the rebel? Why challenge the things that we know that really truly works within us? And so this energy is very much around us. I stumbled. I fell this morning. I know it. But like I said, we will be seeing a lot more. We're going to see a lot more of very unhealthy behaviors, patterns. We're going to see, it really feels like we're just going to really see, as we have these massive solar flares, everything is heating up. Disputes are heating up. Arguments are heating up. But you really have to look at those disputes and those arguments. We got to look at what we're doing to another just to shut people up, just to get people out of our way, just to, on a world scale. You're going to really truly see all of that take place. So sometimes you don't want someone to tell you, you don't want someone to speak a truth to you, so you'd rather not hear it because you don't want to hear a truth. You want to keep staying in your story, right? And sometimes we need to hear a truth. So these are energies that are around us. And sometimes why do we think we have to figure out why do we think we have to know everything, right? Like, why do we need to know it all? Why do we need to have all the answers? Life is a mystery. And leaving life as a mystery and letting the mysteries unfold themselves is a beautiful part of what we're here to allow ourselves to be a part of and to coexist together, this collective energy, doing things together. This is a time beyond this point, because we're going to see a lot of competition, a lot of competitive energy right now. But as we move into the spring, we're going to see people really truly go, oh, how's that working for me? A lot of kind of having to stand on your own island, be a loner. You may be driving people away. You may be trying to overanalyze people, trying to figure people out. You're not here to have to figure people out. People don't need you to analyze and to pick them apart. People sometimes need to be accept that we're okay the way that we are, right? What we're doing is we're growing, we're evolving, we're learning more about ourselves instead of trying to make people be the person that makes you comfortable. Remember that in your relationship. Are you trying to create the person to be that person that makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel safe, makes you feel all those things, but in somebody else? So they have to change all these things about themselves to make them right for you. But is it going to be right for them? It goes right back to the Valentine's thing. Remember that energy as we move forward. This is, like I said, we have the three. We have the 1, 2, 3. We have the mind, body, soul. We have the fourth. We have the fourth influence. There is something. We have the 3. We have the fourth influence. So we have planets. We have planets that are in movement and that are moving. And then we have a fourth influence that are coming in and through this. And I believe that may be the solar flares. And those solar flares are going to be the light. There's a light coming on. There's aha moments. There's people changing, shifting sides, changing their minds and seeing things in a different way. And restoring broken relationships, restoring broken friendships, those type of things that may have taken place, and kind of having to really, truly grow up. It's a time for, it's time for adulting and for adults to be adults. And when we look on a world scale, I kind of just shake my head sometimes because I think, whoa, where's the adults? Even in our political realm, where's the adults? Who's adulting here? How they fight, how they argue. Children are watching. Children are looking. Children are really paying attention. A bunch of adults that are not paying attention to their children, and you're busy dancing around the living room, but you don't pay attention to your children, or you're telling your children they can't spend as much time on social media, but yet that's all you're doing. Who's going to adult? And so these are areas where we're starting to have aha moments and realizations of what's important. Nature becomes a big part of the game. Mother Nature is stepping in. Mother Nature is calling us home. Living, existing, going back into the world is going to really be influencing our future coming forward, getting back into being a part of communities, workforce, and I said this in the yearly in the yearly as well. This is in my yearly. I speak about trades, about office work, about being back in trades, taking up trades, people working together to build again, communities coming together, businesses coming together, people finding that connection again. And right now, it just feels like it's going to break down the paradigms of everything that we have been conditioned and told, or everything that we kind of hid ourselves away from. And all the veils of illusions are falling. Truth is revealing itself. It's going to be a very interesting month, February, and they're calling it like, they say this is like the week of hell. It's what they call this week. And I'm like, you got to get through hell to get through heaven. Sometimes, you got to walk through that hell. And sometimes you got to see how you create your own hell. Sometimes you got to see how you create your own chaos, how you turn somebody into somebody they're not because they're not doing what you want them to do, not being who you want them to be. Sometimes we have to look at that person, and maybe that person is that mirror reflection that's reflecting back something that you just haven't done for yourself. And you may fall more in love or like them more or enjoy them more when you let them be truly who they are, including bringing yourself back to that authentic self. What have you been chasing? What have you always been chasing? And one of the gurus had just recently said this. It's like, I wish that your dreams never come true. May I wish that your dreams never come true. Because we create the dreams and then we chase the dreams and we follow the dreams. It's like chasing a butterfly. And in that, we're creating that predictability to what we think our future could be. That holds us back from sometimes what is possible when we stop trying to figure it out. We stop trying to make it perfect. We stop trying to create it. We start trying to create the perfect environment of people around us and know that we had that perfect environment. We have that on a soul level. It is created of love. It is created of light. It's created with an acceptance. It's created with just a sense of knowing love. Love is great. And that we can only get to heaven when we stop trying to create peace. We stop trying to chase peace. We stop trying to chase happiness. We stop relying on people to make us happy. We stop trying to, create the most beautiful, create the beauty, create everything. And we allow ourselves to be a co-creator. Take the co-pilot seat and let the divine guide us and allow ourselves to be guided by the divine. Yes, this week has a lot of tumultuous energy. Will we see a lot of it unfold? Yes. But does it mean that we have to be it? No, we can really recognize what's influencing our thoughts, our choices, and our decisions this week, and just ask if that's of our highest good. If it doesn't feel like it's of our highest good, if the head is nodding no, don't let the mind take you to places you don't need to go. The heart will guide you. The heart will take us to places. A healthy heart is one that, when we have healed the instinctual self, we have recognized the stories, and that we become the validation to who it is we really truly want to be. We want to adult, we got to become the person, the parent, the mother, the father, the teacher, the guide, everything that we would have wanted someone else to be for us. Time to start activating that within self and be that this week as we move forward. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. I send you much love, and I will be speaking to you in the coming weeks. Much love. Bye-bye.